Hello, good evening, everybody. How are you? Just wanted to share with you how I'm coming along with this painting. Um, I have to say, this flower is quite challenging. I'm trying to make a sunflower, and I have been practicing, but I'm just going to be patient. I put the first layer of like acrylic paint just to start a slow buildup of texture. And so it takes time. I laid down some of the, obviously you see the orange, the darker colors. And then I will build up the yellow so that some of the orange comes through as shadow. And have to work on the texture of the center of the flower. There's a lot going on. It's very furry in reality. But I just wanted to share with you how it's going so far. Now, I don't know, I'm going to turn the phone on its side, so you might have to look sideways, but you know, I'm seeing that that flower is definitely a focal point, you know, and I know that symmetry is definitely important in art. So I have to find some kind of balance, either, oh, sorry, either at the opposing, probably at the opposing side, but her black veil or cloak shawl, it's very strong. I mean, it really has a lot of depth. So I think, you know, with the flower, her hand, her veil is kind of flowing with the wind. So there's a kind of, you know, their eyes are looking at that. There is a rhythm to this, you know, there is a rhythm to it. So I've had a lot of pieces before that. I just was in the middle of it and I'm like, oh my gosh, I really don't like this. It's not going the way I want to. But it's important to be patient. And I have to let the acrylic paint on the flower completely dry so that the color does not bleed through. Because what will happen, it'll just like all mush together and become one color. So it just takes patience and building. And but I love her face. It's not, I feel like it's not so easy to figure out what her you know, ethnicity is. And I think I'm going to work a little bit more on the eyes. Right now she has kind of like a yellow golden color eye. And I almost feel like the eye on the left side is kind of a little, not sure, but the right eye seems to be very determined, you know, to be able to know the happiness and the freedom of this sunflower. Yeah. You know, when I finish with it, you know, I'll have it up in the light or maybe daylight. It really has some beautiful, it's kind of hard to tell. Let me see. Just come with me. I'm gonna put it in front of the light so you can see a little bit better. Yeah, I see that. Oh, look at that glow of the gold paint. That really makes a difference. It's almost like, depending on which way you look at it, it's almost like the sun is just shining, supporting this flower just to continue to grow. And I used more of a bronzy color down here, and I'm just also creating, as you see the texture there. When I was doing that, I was thinking about almost like veins or arteries or avenues or venues, or a conduit of energy, flowing either from her to the flower or the flower to her. You know, I guess it depends on how you see it. And you know, it's hard to tell who's supporting who. So I think this is going to be pretty interesting and powerful. It's not exactly a pretty little, you know, painting that you just put in the corner and you don't really notice. It is definitely like in your face, and you know, it's just becoming inspirational to me, and maybe not in the Western traditional way, but it is inspirational. And you know, when I started doing her hand, I just decided to, you know, her face and her hand are not, you know, like your normal color skin. She's got all these different colors in her face and her hand, because well, because I just love color. And I'll tell you the truth, my mom, she died when I was quite young, and I always remember my grandma telling me, you know, your mommy always said to me, never be afraid of color. So I just feel like I just love color, and sometimes I love putting color in places where, you know, they may not belong in the real world, but this is my world, right? So I can create these things. So anyway, thank you so much for taking the time to watch this, or watch part of it. And my little girl there, she's ready for bed. She's going to sleep, and so am I. So good night, beautiful lady. Thank you for allowing me to create you. Thank you, God, for giving me the patience and some raw talent to be able to do something that makes me so happy inside. Okay, good night.